to a podcast about something where each week we dive deep into whatever it is we find interesting. I'm your host, Calvin, and joining me, living his life a quarter mile at a time, it's your co-host, Nick Richardson.
Hey, I used to come here in high school, and this is where I drag.
You're at the race wars?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Race wars are awesome. We're talking Fast and Furious movies today. We're giving out movie superlatives.
Ooh.
And just generally talking what's going on in the movies. I could probably do an hour on each movie by itself. I don't know that anyone would listen to that. So we're going to try and condense it and pack it all into this one episode. It might run a little long, but we're going to try and keep it somewhat on topic here.
I think I'll do my utter best. And I will say, I think Vin Diesel would probably enjoy it. He'd be like, yeah, man, I really like what this guy's putting down.
That's true. Vin, I know you're listening. Shout out.
Shout out, bro.
The Fast and the Furious movies, to me, I absolutely love them. That Hobbs and Shaw has just recently been released. That's kind of why we're doing this month. I haven't seen Hobbs and Shaw yet, so there will be no Hobbs and Shaw spoilers. I know everybody was worried about that. You know, with these movies, you never want to be spoiled on any of the action. But to me, Fast and Furious movies are just the perfect summation of dumb action.
Pretty much.
When we talked superhero movies at a different time, we talked about, or it was when we were doing our B-Movies and Biceps episode, we talked about how kind of superhero movies are the new action movie, kind of the dumb action movies. But honestly, it's Fast and the Furious, which at this point are kind of superhero movies anyways.
They might as well be. They pull off some incredible fucking feats. Jesus Christ.
We're going to talk about it all.
But, well, nice. But, yeah, man, it's, when I started kind of rewatching a lot of these in the background and moving through, like I'd find myself stopping and be like, wow, they really put that on the screen. But that's exactly what they're going for. It's perfect.
And it's awesome. And they never take themselves too seriously. There are moments in some of the movies where they start trying to take themselves seriously and they're like, nah, fuck it. That's not us.
Yeah,
we're not going to do that. Then they bring The Rock in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, The Rock.
And there's never been anyone who can take The Rock seriously, which is fine. Like, that's great that that's what he does. Somebody was recently talking to me on Twitter about Skyscraper, and I was like, I'm not going to watch it. It seemed too dumb, and they're like, it's exactly what you want, because I was complaining that Rampage wasn't a dumb enough movie,
mm-hmm.
And they're like, no, that's Skyscraper, go see it.
You know,
I still haven't.
I might have to check that. I saw he has a prosthetic, so it's just like, that adds another wow factor to it, I guess. Watch this dude jump like 13 feet across an open expanse that's on fire.
Yeah, it definitely, the prosthetic adds something. I don't know that it's wow, but we'll see. So the Fast and Furious movies, the first one came out in 2000, The Fast and the Furious. That might not be right. I should probably look that up.
I thought it was 2001.
I think it is 2001. Okay, so The Fast and the Furious comes out in 2001 based on a reporter going, it was an article in a magazine, I don't remember what magazine off the top of my head, but based on this guy called Racer X who had infiltrated the underground racing scene, and they kind of morphed that into this movie, and Brian O'Connor's kind of supposed to be that Racer X. And it just starts out as pure street racing for the first 2 and 3 movies. They go into drifting in the third one. But then at movie 4, they wanted to do something different. They brought in Justin Lin on Tokyo Drift, and then for 4, 5, and 6, they wanted to move the movies from street racing to straight up heist movies. And they kind of pulled it off.
They did such a good job, dude.
If you watch, not so much 4 because that's kind of in the middle, but Fast 5, definitely. Fast and Furious 6, Furious 7, and Fate of the Furious, they're all mostly about heists. And they keep one-upping each other, but that's part of that you have to if you're going to make heist movies.
Well, I mean, that's the perfect combination, I gotta say. It's like, I miss a good heist movie. It's been a long time since there was, what was the last good heist movie you've seen? The Town?
No,
that's
Logan Lucky.
The
Town was good, but Logan Lucky is really good.
Well, let me rephrase for you, bro. The Town was fantastic, and Logan
I've got to
Lucky
rewatch
was
it.
pretty good.
I didn't really like The Town the first time I watched it.
Oh,
I need to rewatch it.
I've watched it probably 6 or 7 times. It's one of those where it's just, when I want to watch a decent heist movie, that's Ben Affleck at his best, Jeremy Renner at his best. It's a great movie. And Logan Lucky is a little more obscure, I think.
On rewatch with The Town, those guys were all pretty much small potatoes at that point. Jeremy Renner hadn't really been in anything yet. John Hamm, like Mad Men was on, but it hadn't turned into this huge thing yet. Blake Lively's in there. There's just a lot of people on the outside of Ben Affleck, just orbiting Ben Affleck, who at the time watching The Town, you don't really know who they are, but now they have an added layer to them because they've become big stars since then.
That's kind of how I would say any of them become big stars, but
well, yeah,
it's kind of how Fast and Furious is, and that's kind of back around to my
That's
point
true.
is love a good heist movie. Who doesn't love seeing cars zoom around like crazy, especially super dope ones, and usually exotic places and exotic women. So money and guns and shit, like woo.
Yep, it's all over the place.
There's a man's dream right there, baby.
So I did a full rewatch over the past couple months of all 8 movies. I did it in a different order than they were released because chronologically they messed with the chronology at some point. So the chronology should be The Fast and the Furious 1, Too Fast, Too Furious, then Fast and Furious, which is the 4th movie, then Fast 5, then Fast and Furious 6, then Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, which is actually the 3rd movie, then Furious 7, then Fate of the Furious. So they moved 3 back to the back end of the trilogy.
Which that's the only way it makes sense. They had to explain Han somehow.
Well, yeah, because Han died and comes back, which and I'm fine with that. Han is a great character. We're going to talk about him later. I'm glad they brought him back. 4 was always my least favorite, and probably still is, but it was a lot better on this rewatch than I remember. You could tell that all of the main cast, Michelle Rodriguez, Jordana Brewster, Paul Walker, and Vin Diesel, like they were all really happy to be back together and doing this thing after Tokyo Drift was like kind of the scar over the franchise at the time, which I really like Tokyo Drift, but
yeah, me too.
It's shat upon all the time. This one has the biggest problems with taking itself too seriously. Like they try to bring everybody back and do this thing where we're gonna make serious heist movies now. We're not gonna make these goofy racing movies anymore. And they went a little too far. But then we get Fast 5 and they came back and you get The Rock in there and everything's going crazy. So
yeah, they reined that shit on.
And in Fast 5, Dom actually turns into a superhero. And at that point you have to. If you're going head to head with The Rock, you got to be a superhero, I think.
Or just Vin Diesel. I mean, that dude's played some badass characters. He wants to think he's super badass, but I really think he's not.
I mean, he's Groot.
I am Steve Rogers.
And The Rock in Fast 5, like, he just comes in throwing 100-degree heat. Like, he's just he's all in on this. He hadn't started, like, taking himself seriously, doing things like Ballers and these other movies where, like, he doesn't want to just be the beefy guy. He came in to be the beefy guy, and you can tell.
Well, the beefy and the pretty funny guy. Like, he throws some really good lines down when he finally comes to the show, or to the movie, whatever, to the franchise. That's what I was looking for. But I think he's a smart enough and good enough businessman. He kind of recognized, like, that's his niche. That's where he fits in, and why not get in with a billion-dollar franchise at that point?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck yeah, man. I'd be all about it if I was The Rock. I'd be showing up to work all happy and dandy, like, woo, let me party.
And then we get 6, 7, and 8. They still have these heists, but they don't actually land a big score in any of these movies. 5, they get the big score. They get $100 million. But 6, 7, and 8, they're more trying to score things for the government or for the police in some way. And that, I don't know, I like it, but at the same time, it's like, I want to see these guys succeed. I guess if they all have $10 million, they don't need any more money.
Well, that, and I don't know. I felt like they were trying to gravitate towards being realistic, which, of course you can't pull off heists all the time without the police looking for you, so why not
exactly.
work? There you go, you work
so they got to work with them, yeah. And then we got Furious 7, and that just did away with any semblance of realism, and that's great. We get the rooftop fight between Dom and Deckard Shaw, and they're just, Dom's using 2 giant wrenches, and I think Deckard Shaw's using windshield wipers. And we get the great line, the thing about street fights is the street always wins, and Dom stomps the ground and just crushes Deckard Shaw. The Rock flexes through a cast. We got a fighter jet / drone chase through the streets of LA where somehow there's no traffic. We get the sky drop in the beginning of the movie where they'll parachute out of planes in cars, which is one of my favorite things, and we'll talk more about it later. Brian jumping off the bus. They jump a car through buildings. And there's like 15 close calls of Brian almost dying, and that's because that was the movie where Paul Walker died before, and they had to use his brother as stand-in and a lot of CGI stuff. So like you kept thinking Brian was going to die when really he just goes off to live with his family. And then T-Pain is even in Furious 7.
T-Pain.
He's the DJ at the weird party in Abu Dhabi. So that's great. And then Fate of the Furious takes it even one step further. Dom goes evil. He's got a kid now. They chase a submarine through a frozen tundra. Both the Shaws come back. Their mom is in there, Helen Mirren. We've got 2 Oscar-winning actresses in a Fast and Furious movie. If in 2006, off the heels of Tokyo Drift, I said, hey, guess what? This franchise is going to go for 13 more years. We're going to have 2 Oscar-winning actresses in it. How much money would you have paid me to take that bet?
I don't know, man, especially if you consider the fact they've made billions. Like, what?
Yeah. But in 2006, like, anybody's taking that bet against me that I'm like, this is going to go for 13 more years. They're going to have Oscar winners in it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I probably would have laughed at you. Like, yeah,
exactly.
Nope.
You would have asked me to pass the drugs, because that's what it is.
Pass the drug.
They've got 2 hackers on their team now. The Rock is a good dad. Tormund Giantsbane's in there. I like in this movie, too, they just completely gave up on trying to explain any of the hacking that's going on. And they just, like, start saying the word hack a lot instead of, like, having Ludacris try and explain whatever computer stuff he's doing, right. Which never makes sense anyways.
Throw on the glasses, type really fast on the keyboard, and just say, man, I'm hacking this hacking door.
I'm hacking into it. I'm hacking into it.
The back way, man. I don't know how else to do it, man. They're blocking me out, bro. They're blocking me out. And then, you know, that's all you got to do. I just won a fucking Emmy right there. Thank you, Fast and Furious.
You just got to hack it.
Just got to hack it, bro.
Just hack into it.
Hacking in the back door.
We're hacking into it right now. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Before we get into the superlatives, I've got just a few more notes. Paul Walker and Jordana Brewster are just awful actors.
Yeah, Paul Walker's
okay.
booty. I'm sorry.
So, Paul Walker's terrible.
Dude, Vin Diesel's
terrible
poop, too.
Yeah, Vin Diesel's not very good, but Vin Diesel's good at this. Like, Paul Walker and Jordana Brewster weren't even good at this. Somehow Paul Walker did this thing where he was bad in every movie he was ever in, but all of the movies were still enjoyable. I still wanted to show up and see Paul Walker movies because whatever was going on around his bad acting was always like fun and exciting.
Sorry, what was the one movie he was in? I can't. It was super serious.
The Lazarus Project?
No, it was like
Running Scared?
Yes.
Running Scared.
Thought he was
really
decent
entertaining movie. Fast and Furious, all of them really entertaining. Into the Blue with Jessica Alba, not a great movie, but really entertaining. Varsity Blues, really entertaining and actually a pretty good movie.
Not
like
good.
No, he's not good in any of those performances, except maybe Running Scared. Like you said, he was pretty good in that.
He was pretty good in that.
It didn't matter because he was really good at picking enjoyable and entertaining movies. They're just popcorn movies. They never were too serious, and it was great.
Butts in the seats, man. That's what it takes.
I don't know that any other bad actor that I would want to keep going to their movies. Name a bad actor.
Shit, there's a lot of them out there.
Megan Fox. Not going to see a movie because she's in it.
Yeah, honestly, I'm trying to think, and it's like, you know, Amelia Clark. There you go.
Oh, definitely not going to see a movie because she's in it.
I paid to see Terminator Genesis. I was fucking pissed.
Yeah, I rented that one, and it was not good. But I rented that because I'm interested in the Terminator saga, not because Amelia Clark was in it.
But yeah, dude, I've watched Terminator since I was a kid. Like, I remember my dad was always like, yeah, bro, and when he shot him through the window of this store, oh my God. And it's like, okay, cool, you know, I gotta watch this movie then, and it was always pretty good. The
Terminator's dope.
Yeah, Terminator's dope.
I'm kind of excited for the new one. Looks to be pretty good.
It looks entertaining. I think it might be like super serious. Well, I mean, if you rewatch the old Terminator movies, they got a lot of that just crazy dumb shit in it too. It's just in a great framework and a really entertaining movie.
And the other thing I want to say outside of the movies is Justin Lin is really great at directing these movies. He directed Tokyo Drift, Fast and Furious, which is number 4, Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6, and he's slated to direct the 9th movie in the series.
Bro,
not Hobbs and Shaw, the actual 9th in the proper series.
Lucas Black is coming back.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, it's going to be so dope. But yeah, man, he's got a great eye for this.
There are just some really, really beautiful shots in those movies, especially. He understood how to make the cars look good on the backdrops. He shot the hell out of all the drifting scenes in Tokyo Drift. Then he had the favela chase in Fast 5 and the bank vault heist in Fast 5. Like, he somehow just has an eye for like where the cars should be, where the people should be around the cars, and what scene the cars should be in at all times. Way to go, Justin Lin.
Yeah,
as long as
he
he's
does a great
involved
job.
in these movies, I'm there.
Yeah, I'm fucking there, dude. Especially because that's kind of, I don't know, man. It's almost in the same vein of like Michael Bay. Like these crazy, ridiculous shots. But they're not
they
annoying.
look so good.
Yeah, they look
Yeah.
so good. They're exactly what I want to see. It's
Yeah.
not, 15 lens flares and just
I
they
would say
zoom out
Justin
and
Lin-
cut and it's like, no.
I've probably seen other Justin Lin movies. I can't think of them off the top of my head. But Justin Lin with these movies is better than Michael Bay at anything Michael Bay's done.
Yeah, Michael Bay is not very good.
I like some of his movies. I love the first Transformers movies. I like those new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies, as we talked about last week. There's a lot there. It's just, it just goes a little. I love Bad Boys 2. Shout out Michael Bay. Bad Boys 1.
I always
okay.
forget that he.
Bad Boys 2 is so good.
Yeah, I always forget.
All right, so the last thing, and this is actually in the movies, Brian was a terrible cop.
Yeah, he was a piece of shit. Like, he totally betrayed his bros. Totally.
Well, he betrayed him. His friends always got caught. Roman got caught. Dom got caught. Or he turned on them and or he turned on the other cops and just let the criminals go, even if they were caught. He let Roman go. He let Dom go. Hobbs, not great either, but Brian was a cut above the rest. And then somehow, so he's a bad cop in the first one. He's a bad cop in the second one. Somehow we come back to number 4, and now he's been promoted to the FBI? How in the world is he still a fucking cop?
Yeah, no shit.
They even have a throwaway line about, like, oh, we shouldn't have reinstated you. But, like, that's bullshit. He's terrible.
Yeah, that's what you get. It's like, check it, bitch. It's that one guy that they just can't seem to fire.
And then they have to keep bringing him in because they're trying all these they're trying to find all these car related crimes, and his superiors are always just the stupidest people in the world about how and what Brian does well, which is infiltrate car gangs, basically. And they're just like, they can never get around to, like, they give him a car and it's the biggest piece of shit car, or it's like the most inconspicuous car in the world. It's Roman's green Lamborghini instead of like an actual racing car. And that, like, all of the superiors to Brian were just always so stupid about how to get into the underground racing world.
Yeah, no.
So I guess that's what he brought to the table, even if he was terrible at it.
He was the streetwise dude. Where they're like, well, why don't you just walk up to him and say, hey, mister, why don't we...
You guys steal any DVD players?
Yeah,
Can I get on that action?
Why don't we get a Michelob Ultra and we'll talk about it? You guys know where I can get one of them DVDs? And there
we
you
drink
go.
Corona here.
With lime,
We do not drink
bitch.
Michelob Ultra.
Oh, that's fine.
We're
Let
a
me get
Corona
you and
family.
the boys around. Woohoo!
Can I have any beer you want as long as it's a Corona?
Oh, Sol.
Corona's so bad.
Sol. If you want a good beer, get that. It's kind of like, yeah, Corona's booty.
Ugh.
And then you see, like, the few times I have ever gone to a bar, my eyes gravitate to the one guy, which is every guy in these fucking movies, drinking the Corona at the bar with the lime sticking out. And it's like, man, you're just drinking that gritty shit.
He's watched one too many Fast and Furious movies. That's
Seriously. And then I overhear him say, I live my life a quarter mile at a time, baby.
That's you. You're the one that lives a quarter mile at a time.
Oh, yeah, shit. It was me that said that.
So let's talk about where the family has been so far. They start in LA, then Brian goes to Miami, then we're in Tokyo, then Mexico, Brazil, London, the mountains of Azerbaijan, Abu Dhabi, Cuba, Berlin, New York City, Siberia, and they may go into space someday. And honestly, they have to, right?
Well, I mean, that's
They
the
have to
last
go into
frontier, bud. They got to.
That's the only way to go bigger than what they've already done, is like rocket racing or an actual spaceship of some sort.
Oh my god, man. I just had this crazy vision of them racing fucking rockets.
Of like on the launching pads, they got 2 rockets sitting
They
there.
suck
Dom's in
over each
one.
other.
The Rock's in the other, and I was gonna say Brian, but obviously he's not gonna be in one. And they just give each other this look as they blast off. Like it's like in Furious 7, the final look between Brian and Dom as they kind of drive off their separate ways while the Wiz Khalifa song plays in the background. That's what it's gonna be as the Rock and Vin Diesel go into space.
Exactly.
And Lucas Black will probably be in there too.
They'll just have Lucas Black's face painted on the side. We're throwing it out to a true hero.
Maybe Bow Wow will be back too.
He'll be on the other one.
I think they save that. If it happens, which I think it will, I think that happens in Fast 10, which I have always thought, and I stole this joke. I don't know who I stole it from, but if they don't call it Fast 10 your seatbelts, then what are we even doing here anymore?
Yeah, they super won't.
They super should, though.
Fate of the Furious.
They called it Fate of the Furious. They have to call it Fast 10 your seatbelts.
That's actually a pretty good one.
I don't remember who I stole that joke from, but I loved it, and I'm keeping it.
I already got the plot, man. The Ruskies are trying to get to the moon before us. We got to get there first. They have cosmonaut racers. We got to beat them, bro.
Yeah, they've got like the Mars rover. That's how they race. Is that everybody lands on the moon, and then it's a race to the special space rock or whatever. That's the heist. Is they got to obtain this space rock, and they've got these Mars rover type things that they're driving. And Tej is in there controlling one remotely, and it basically turns into Mad Max, but also Fast and the Furious.
Yeah,
so we got it.
Trying to get that unobtainium.
Call us up, Universal.
Rock.
We got it.
Oh yeah, dude. Seriously, they're trying to break dead Brian out of the gulag on the moon. It's on the dark side. We don't know it's there, but Putin's got it. I bet you he does.
All right, so now that we've written Fast 10 your seatbelts, let's get into the movie superlatives. The rules are you can only give one movie per award and one award per movie. No repeatsies, no take-backsies. We're going to give out 5 different awards. We're giving out Best Car, Best Family Member, Best Side Character / Villain, Best Most Outrageous Stunt, and Best Heist.
Yes.
And then we've got a lot of extras after the fact, and I've got a lot of honorable mentions. Like I said, we're going to try and keep it short. I don't know if I can rein myself in. I will try.
He'll do his best, but...
So let's start. Best car, what do you got?
I got the Ford GT40 from Fast 5.
Dom's car.
Dude.
Nice.
Dude. I'm a huge Ford guy. I kind of like the lore behind that car. There just really wasn't very many made. It was a super dope drag racer, basically, back in like the 60s, I think.
Plus, it can do wheelies.
Well, apparently, which I had no idea. It was ergonomically designed enough to do wheelies. Surprise,
I didn't know
surprise.
any car was.
Oh, yeah. I mean, maybe a Jeep or something. But anyway, I mean, I love the color design of it. I think it's a dope car.
Is that, in Fast 5, is that the matte black one?
I thought it was the blue one. That's just kind of...
Oh, yeah, the blue one is there. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like the blue one with the white stripe. Or white, whatever. Okay,
yep, I know what you're talking about. I've seen a lot of Fast and Furious movies lately, and they all kind of mesh together, especially the cars, because I'm not like a huge car dude. So, like, it all kind of meshes together a little bit. My pick for best car was the Honda Civics from the Fast and the Furious, the first movie. Black Honda Civics with the green neons underneath. I owned that car. I had the green neons under it.
Way, dude.
I had never seen Fast and Furious. I just wanted... Okay. I just wanted green neons under my black Civic, and I got that. This is 2005, live it up. So, and then, like, I got them, and somebody's like, yo, you've got the car from Fast and Furious. I'm like, what are you talking about? I've never even seen that movie.
Yeah, I'm sure they reacted the same way. They're like, yeah, sure, bro.
No, but, so that one kind of holds a special place to me. Honorable mention for one that I would actually want is Roman's white Mustang in Fast and Furious 6. It's, fuck if I know it, but it's a white Mustang. It's got a red interior. It just looks dope as hell.
Yeah, dude, like that crushed red velvet interior on that nice deep white, pearl white. Ooh, that's a good looking car. And like I said, I'm not even really a big car guy, but you gotta admire good looking shit when you see it.
I like to look at cars. I'm not going to get into the weeds of what kind of engine and, 0 to 60, all that kind of torque, all that kind of shit. Like, I don't care. If it looks pretty, I like it.
Yeah, I'll drive it. Can it go?
Yeah.
I'm there.
So speaking of Roman, best family member, I choose Roman Pierce. Tyrese from Too Fast, Too Furious. Honestly.
Also a terrible actor.
Yeah. This is best in favorite, not best in like he's got everyone's backs.
No, he's kind of
And this is the
prick.
question we asked on Twitter, and we'll get to the Twitter feedback in a minute. But this is just so perfect for Tyrese. He's just the background hype man, always screaming, always yelling, gets into some good riffing with Ludacris in the later movies. In Too Fast, Too Furious, he's got the line, "It's a Hoasis in here, bro." You gotta love that.
It's always in here, bro. Well,
And
he's just outrageous.
he can still be a badass sometimes, though.
Wait,
You know, he has a good hand-to-hand fight with
I was
Brian in
just
Too
about to say,
Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah, he can fight.
In Fate of the Furious, while they're chasing down the submarine, he kicks his car door off. No. That's what it is. He like snowboards on his car door while shooting villains on snowmobiles. And like, I know that's unbelievable, but
he
it's still
did it.
badass.
Yeah, he fucking did it. And he's always good for an "oh shit" every movie.
And he always freaks out. Any like challenge they have, he freaks out. And I loved it in Furious 7. He's the one that plans the sky drop, and then he's just like, they're like, "How do you expect to get to that point of the mountain?" He's like, "Tej, tell him what's up. I'm delegating. That's how I plan."
That's what I do, son.
So like he's there for comic relief, and he hits it so good every time. There's this video series I watch on YouTube. It's called Cinema Sins, where they just basically nitpick all kinds of movies. And every Fast and Furious one they've done, anytime Tyrese shows up, the sin is always keep getting those paychecks, Tyrese.
Get that paycheck.
Which is just like he shows up, he screams for 20 seconds, and then he's gone.
What a great job. What a great job.
I love Roman. I will always be there for Roman in a Fast and Furious movie. I will not be there to watch Tyrese in many other things.
No, I mean, he was Death Wish, or Death Race. That's what I meant to say.
I've never seen that.
It's actually entertaining, but he's also very much like, "oh, shit!"
Yeah, the same kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So who do you have for best family member? And then we'll go
I got
Twitter.
Roman. I'm just kidding. I got Hansters. Big hand.
He was my honorable mention.
He is a fucking G. And he's pretty much capable of anything, apparently, I guess.
So which movie did you pick him from?
Fast 5.
Okay.
When he is driving
that
down...
That means you can't use Fast 5 anymore.
Well, when he's driving down that... Yeah, well, for you, bro. What is my favorite one?
No, well, just as anything. You can't use it. Now you've used Fast 5.
Well, I won't...
you can't give another award to something
Han,
in Fast 5.
He's in multiple movies.
So you got to pick a different movie. It doesn't matter. Just go on. Why do you like Han? I agree with whatever you're going to say about Han. So,
but he's just a G, man. I remember watching Fast 5 at the end when everybody's all happy and music's playing and he's driving down the highway with Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot. Yeah.
Ooh, man, and just making out with her while he's driving ridiculously fast. Obviously, you would so die in like 30 seconds, if that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that was probably the most. That was one of those scenes where you where you sit back and you just go, "That dude's a fucking pimp."
Yep.
That's balling.
Plus his name, I think they show it in Fast and Furious 6 in like his death scene. His license says his name is Han Sol. Seoul spelled as in Seoul, South Korea. So his name's Han Solo, which I always liked that little Easter egg in there. He helps Mike Winchell learn how to drift and win in Tokyo Drift. And I know Lucas Black's name is Sean, but to me, he's always Mike Winchell from Friday Night Lights. I don't care what other movies he's in.
Love that movie.
He's Mike Winchell.
It's Booby Miles.
Put Booby in. Let him spin.
I can't.
Such a good movie.
He's
like you said, he's able to blend into any crowd to get intel, which like that's his when they bring him back in Fast 5, that's his thing that he does. That's fine. He's always eating. He runs the underground scene in Tokyo and cuts in DK just to keep the Yakuza off his back. Like that's some baller shit.
Oh, dude's a fucking
like
thug,
DK is family with the Yakuza, and Han's just like, no, I got this. And
he's always chill. It's like,
yeah,
it's
he's
always
quiet
like
but thoughtful. That's what I wrote.
He just got done taking a shit, like a huge dump that you've been working on all day. And that's the mindset he strikes me as. Even when they're in this crazy high scenarios, chill as a cucumber. But
well, in Tokyo Drift,
so
he says, "What's the point of racing? It just proves you're faster. If I'm gonna race, it's gonna be for something." So like that makes sense. He's not out there drifting to win pink slips or money off of other people. Like he doesn't need that. he's racing for Gal Gadot, you know.
Yeah, he's trying to get that booty.
But like I was so surprised when he showed back up in Fast 5 because I didn't know that they moved the chronology around anymore. So I'm just like, what the hell? How did he come back?
I had no idea.
And it was awesome. Like I was so happy to see him again. And like I don't think I learned that they switched the chronology until sometime between 6 and 7. So like this whole time I'm like, okay, he's dead, but he's not dead, but he is dead, and like it's just very confusing.
Very confusing.
Because like Tokyo Drift was one of those movies that you saw and then immediately forgot for the next until Fast and Furious 6 came out, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't think I just thought it was weird when they did that. I was like, what the fuck? But I was
really
like,
that's cool because
exactly.
I like it.
It was like, I'm not gonna ask too many questions.
And then bringing Gal Gadot was such a great idea. She's so good, and she's so good in these movies too. And like letting her leave is one of the worst ideas that these movies had. And I'm sure it wasn't as much of letting her leave as her saying, I'm Wonder Woman now, fuck you guys.
Exactly. Like, I'm making way more money.
But, like, it sucks that they had her before she was Wonder Woman. And not as she's Wonder Woman. Well, yeah, I think it's great because she's in the movies, but, like, I would like to continue to see her in the movies. But she's dead now.
But, yeah, you can't, I don't know, man. You can't have her in fucking car heist movies looking sexy as hell doing bad shit as Wonder Woman. Just can't fly.
I'm okay with it.
Well, we are, obviously. We and Kurt's like, yeah, okay, you know what?
Yeah, bring it on.
Why don't you do all these things dressed up like Wonder Woman? You know, wear the costume. Live your role, damn it. But you know, there's the Karens out there. And sorry to anybody who's named Karen listening, or if your wife's named Karen.
No, you know what? Fuck you, Karen.
Yeah, but I deal with y'all all the time, and you do suck. And you do look alike. Dude, I saw Karen today. Shit, you know, I had that bob haircut. No, fuck no. I got maced earlier today, people. It was not fun. That shit hurt so bad.
Now, he got maced in the process of doing his job, not trying to assault a random woman on the street.
No.
Let's clarify that.
Yeah, exactly. Someone was doing bad shit, and I stopped them, and they maced me. But it wasn't this Karen. I did see her earlier, though, before my eyes felt like they were on fire. Still kind of do. but anyway, she was walking around in a leopard print spandex pants.
Nice.
It's just way too small, like stretched so thin that you could see like through it basically. But she wasn't like super big. So brown, like white woman, so brown, she looked like old Cheetos. It was rough. And
Yummy.
then she had fucking cannons, dude. Cannons. And I'm sitting there walking past her, and she's just looking me up and down like, who's this dirty bastard? And yeah, all I could think is, oh my god, I'm looking at Vin Diesel dressed up in drag with a bob haircut.
I was gonna say, what does this have to do with Fast and the Furious? But you brought it all back around.
Oh,
good
dude,
job.
that's the first thing that came to my mind because I've been thinking about it, and I see this person in the distance with these crazy big arms, and it's like, holy shit. What? And then you get closer, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's the, it made me think of Vin Diesel. Big dumb arms with the, wearing basically long pants and a thick shirt, but the sleeves are cut off. Gotta show them arms. And so tight. Like, that dude wears the tightest clothes in this shit. How does he move?
I did a guest spot on the Late to the Show podcast last week. It should be posting. Actually, it'll be posted before this. So go listen to that. And we talked about Fargo, but they had just finished their series on Fast and the Furious. And so as they're going through, I listened to a bunch of them. As they're going through, they're asking who's hotter, The Rock or Vin Diesel. And I had to give my opinion on it because I knew that, our episode was coming. And with Vin Diesel, like, for some reason, they think Vin Diesel is hotter, which is false. And I said he kind of looks like one of the Dark Elves from Thor 2, but a little whiter. I don't see it with Vin Diesel. He's got a weird look to him. I
don't know, man. He's just he reminds me of Mr. Clean. Like, that's it, man. If Mr. Clean walked
his
around...
His ears are weird. Like, look at his ears, and then his face is he's got the Haley Joel Osment problem where his face is too small for his head.
And he's always got this sounds like I'm fat shaming him, but he always has a double chin, man. Always. Yeah. Or just, like, no chin. I mean,
that's not because he's fat. It's because his neck is so thick from lifting weights.
But he doesn't even... What's funny is he doesn't even look that cut. Which is crazy.
No, but he is.
Well, yeah, you know that.
Did you see him wielding those wrenches in Fate of the Furious? Or Furious 7?
I know how it is. Us white dudes, we do not look very cut, ever.
So let's go to Twitter. This is the question we asked on Twitter this week for our poll. Who is the best family member to give out with the movie Superlatives? Gave our three choices: Dom Toretto with 42% of the vote, Brian O'Connor with 26% of the vote, Han Solo with 21% of the vote, and other got 11% of the vote. And this was a little late. We only got 19 votes. I posted the poll a little later than usual, so we didn't get as much feedback as we usually do. But we got some feedback. Do you have it up? Do you want to read it?
I do.
Okay, go for it.
For other, we got the Heavyweight Chumps podcast at Mad Fat Loud. Hey,
shout out.
Yeah, shout out you guys. They voted Tej. His scenes with Tyrese are always great. And Calvin, you concurred.
I do.
The great Colby
I like
Mack.
Tej.
Sorry.
I like Tej. The problem with Tej is, like, everything he says about computers doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I
like Ludacris.
Yeah, Ludacris is that dude. And he's kind of out there, too. He's Tyrese level.
He's a little smoother than Tyrese.
He is, especially at barbecues. Colby Mack at Colby Told Me. Dude is awesome. Check out his show. He voted Tej as well.
A lot of Tej love here.
Yeah, a lot of Tej love in the comments. And a guy with no ties to these men, but always chooses to stick with them. The guy in the chair.
I mean, he was homies with Brian.
Punch. The dirtbag of the group, if you look at it from their perspective.
I mean, he was friends with Brian. He gave Tyrese a place to stay in Too Fast, Too Furious.
That was very kind of him.
He's in there.
Podcast Fanatic Blog at Pod Junkies. AO, they voted Han, which I thought was great. Yeah, great choice. And then last but not least, we got With a Side of Knowledge, which I've been checking them out. They're very interesting.
I might have to look into them.
With a Side of Pod. I like that. And they just put Vin Diesel's GIF that says I don't have...
It's pronounced GIF with a hard G.
I call it GIF.
You're wrong. Next week on a podcast about something, we will be arguing GIF versus GIF. Stay tuned.
Ligma. But anyway, it's Vin Diesel as a GIF. A GIF. And they just voted case closed.
Says I don't have friends. I don't have friends. I got family. Which, that's true.
His mouth just looks so weird when it's...
he looks weird, man. He's a weird looking dude.
He always looks so mad.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so thank you everyone on Twitter for participating. We got polls every week. That's at APA something on Twitter, at alone_podcast on Twitter. Stay tuned there. We always got good stuff and give shout outs for anyone who participates. So thank you to those people. Moving on to the best side character / villain. Who you got?
Mine's a combo. I'm guessing you could guess who I'm going to pick. The fucking Rock, son.
Oh,
I smelled what the Rock was cooking.
Dude,
I smelled what the Rock was cooking, and it was great. It smelled like gunpowder and gas and big explosives and all kinds of good stuff.
From which movie?
You know, I'm gonna go out. I haven't even seen it yet, so
it's gotta be Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and fucking Shaw, my man. Just seeing the commercials, it's just like, oh yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see
you're
those
already
two
all
fucking around.
I know, I want to see it so bad. I just haven't had the time. Idris Elba as the villain there.
Yes, and he looks so outrageous too.
They go to Samoa or wherever the Rock's character is from, and like are fighting with spears and shit. Like it looks insane.
Yeah, it does look insane.
I'm excited.
I'm pretty excited. That might be one I have to wait for to come out on DVD because I can't really look my parents or my wife's mom in the eye and be like, yeah, can you watch Aria? I need to go to a Fast and Furious movie.
I'm in the same boat. Like, I really want to see it. I just don't know if I can carve the time out to go see it, but it'll be a day one rental and watch. Or maybe even digital. I might even have to get it on digital before it hits Redbox.
Might have to do a review for Hobbs and Shaw when it hits DVD for a Patreon exclusive, just saying.
Yeah. Stay tuned, maybe. Who knows?
Who knows? I don't know.
All right, The Rock's a good pick. He's both villain and ally in different movies, and he's always there. He's down.
He's down to clown.
Down to ride.
He's down to clown.
Furious 7, he flexes through his cast, comes out in an ambulance, fucking takes the drone out. You know, Letty asks him, "Is the cavalry coming?" He says, "Woman, I am the cavalry."
And
that right there, like,
and he means it.
Very sexist of him, but that's what he is.
That was more of just like, look at me. Do you see what I am? A walking tank.
He pulls a Gatling gun off of a drone and shoots down a helicopter.
Somehow. I mean, that
He's
dude
the
is just so
fucking Calvert.
strong. And he's like 6'6", so I mean, there's that too.
Yeah. So I went very, 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 very subjective on this one. And I also have an honorable mention again, so don't worry there. I picked Twinkie from Tokyo Drift. Lil Bow Wow himself. Might have been just Bow Wow at that point. But I had to get Tokyo Drift in here somehow. I had to get Bow Wow in. The Hulk, like Kia Soul box type car is really cool, actually. Like the paint job and like the fists coming out of the trunk. Like that's actually pretty cool. I would never drive it, but it's cool to look at.
Don't lie, you'd so drive that. I would drive it. I'd feel no shame.
I would drive it if somebody let me, but like I wouldn't pick that car to be my everyday car.
Just rolling up to the office like,
yeah. I'd have to answer a lot of questions a lot of times, and if you know anything about me, I don't like talking to other people, so I wouldn't bring that unwanted attention onto myself. He's tapped into the underground race scene somehow because he knows Han. He's got 15 side hustles going on at school, trying to sell laptops, cell phones, Jordans, everything he can think of for insane discounts. He's always got the hookup. So with that, do you think these are knockoffs, or do you think he gets them as like donations or super, super deep discounts because he's an army brat?
Those are so knockoffs. You
think so?
Oh.
But if they're knockoffs, why are people buying from him instead of any other of the other hundreds of knockoff dealers I'm assuming are in Tokyo?
Because I imagine their customs are redonkulous. And I don't think
I get that. I get why knockoffs exist. I'm saying, why are they buying from Bow Wow instead of any of these other knockoff dealers that
they're probably
throw
not
a dart at?
widely available. Because I imagine as an army brat, he's got connections.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think these are coming in as donations, or like the people on the army base just get discounts on shit like that.
Nah,
and then he sells it for a profit to him, but still less than what retail would be.
I'm just gonna say this: like the one black dude, I think he's the one black dude in the movie. Gotta have him doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
Come on, Hollywood.
I mean, this is 2006. Do we really expect much more from Hollywood in 2006? I know I don't.
I don't know. When you say 2006, it's like, man, that wasn't that long ago. And it's like, bro, no, 13 years ago. That's a long time.
Any amount of time over like 3 years in the past 20 years, it gets compounded by like tenfold, just because of like how fast technology makes everything grow.
I mean, and Bow Wow's not even Bow Wow anymore. He's just Bow. Like he dropped.
No, he's Shad Moss now.
He's Sean Moss.
Shad Moss.
Shad.
S-H-A-D. That's his real name.
Shad.
Shad.
Huh.
I know way too much about Bow Wow. We will not be doing a podcast on Bow Wow ever, so you guys don't have to worry about that. But anywhere I can fit him into any other episode, I will.
Good pick. I like it.
He's got a great outlook on picking up ladies. His outlook is he's kind of short. He looks different from everyone. So be the one that makes them laugh. If you're not all there physically, just be the one that makes them laugh. He sticks to his guns about not giving refunds on his knockoff / deeply discounted paraphernalia. He gets his ass beat for it, for selling a broken iPod, but he sticks to his guns. He doesn't let that dude walk all over him.
No.
And then he's ride or die for Mike Winchell, and Mike Winchell needed somebody like that.
Yeah, I mean, he was the only dude who spoke, American. That sounds so terrible. But there's a difference between English and American, for sure. Yeah,
I get what you're saying. And then, Bow Wow, he had this moment, and it was right around 2005 to 2008, where he was trying to be like a legit, I'm not going to say a serious actor, but a legit actor, and it just never paid off. He had Like Mike, Tokyo Drift, he was in Entourage, he had his own movie called The Lottery Ticket, which is not very good. Now he's on a reality show, Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta. He was always okay in all these things. I've watched most of these movies. Roll Bounce was in there. I forgot about that one. He's fine, but he's a yeller. Instead of acting, he just yells all of his lines to make it feel like emotion.
Pretty much. I loved him in Like Mike, but it's been a while since I've seen that.
Yeah, he's always overdoing it. And then I've actually got a lot of honorable mentions. Owen Shaw in Fast and Furious 6 was a great villain. He was just as good as, the family we know at driving and organizing his team. He's even smarter than them, though. He's always 2 steps ahead. He's got, his woman on the inside of the Rock's, elite squad. Gina Carano's in there. He recruits Letty and uses her against Dom, which is a super bold chess move. Like, that could have turned on him really hard, and it actually ended up doing so. But, like, just having the balls to do that's a good move. And then we one up it with Deckard Shaw in Furious 7. He's just ruthless. He's out for revenge. And to me, revenge is always the best motivation for any villain. He doesn't give a shit about anything else. He just wants to destroy them.
Boom. I mean, that's good enough.
And then they add him in retroactively as Han's killer in Tokyo Drift, when Han got run off the road in a chase with DK. And DK in Tokyo Drift is actually a really good villain too.
He was.
He's got these Yakuza connection. He's genuinely intimidating for someone like Mike, not for Han, but like for Mike Winchell, he was actually intimidating for a while there. And then there was this, drifting had its moment in the mid 2000s also where it was like legitimately cool. There, between this movie and the Need for Speed series, which kept trying to force drifting on everyone that played it, like the actual racing style was really, really cool then.
Yeah.
And then I got one more for Tokyo Drift. This is an honorable mention to Brad Taylor from Home Improvement in the opening race scene with Mike Winchell. He's just like this quintessential jock douchebag antagonist. And Mike Winchell gets some great zingers on him. He says, you can read the brochure after Brad Taylor lists off all like his car stats. He's like, oh, that's good that you can read the brochure. And he toasts him in the race. Great race scene there. All right, I think that's all I have for side characters. I think I named everyone.
It's like
just every fucking person in a Fast and Furious movie. That's who my favorite is.
They're great. I mean, they are a great background cast.
All right, so let's move on to most outrageous stunt. I go first on this one.
Hit me.
It's catching the airplane in Fast 6. And Tyrese has a great line. He goes, "That ain't a plane, that's a planet," because it's such a big plane. The runway is just endless. It's like a 20-mile runway. They just keep going, keep going. There's a ton of stuff going on in the scene. It's insane that all the cars could keep their speed up with a fucking plane trying to take off.
Yeah, they go fast, dude.
Most of the cars caught it. The others fought the plane somehow. We get a great girl fight between Michelle Rodriguez and Gina Carano, and it's way better than the one with Ronda Rousey in Furious 7. Letty gets the hammer line of "wrong team, bitch," and harpoons Gina Carano out of the plane, which is fucking badass.
So wrong.
Letty's awesome. I'd be ride or die for Letty. We got The Rock versus whoever the big dude on Shaw's squad is. And they get like a tag team finisher on them. You get Dom versus Shaw. Roman even fights someone. Giselle dies there.
My boo.
Do we think Giselle comes back ever?
Not unless they fuck up the movies again. Move it around a bit.
Not just now that she's so much more popular, I could see her somehow making a comeback. But she's ride or die for Han too. She kills a dude as, she goes out. Someone gets thrown into the jet engine at one point.
Yeah,
they all get out of the plane. And then Mia is there. She's clearly a terrible driver and not actually part of the team, but, she still gets to be there sometimes, which is nice that they involve her.
Yeah, of course they got to. It's Mia.
And then the plane goes down in a fireball, and Dom just walks out of it like a badass. And The Rock officially becomes part of the family now.
He walks out of so much shit. Much shit.
Absolutely.
That's the point, though. He can't die.
What have you got for the most outrageous stunt?
The most outrageous stunt I think that I have ever witnessed in any movie ever, and it's my vote here. And it's from Fast 7, when Dom...
Furious 7. Whatever. You gotta get the names right, man.
Furious 7.
This is serious stuff here.
I'm looking at my note, and I just wrote Fast 7, because I was writing fast.
Fast 5, Furious 7.
Furious 7. Anyways, when Dom basically just takes like this crazy vertical incline and then ramps off a crumpled in building.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And hits a fucking helicopter.
That's the building he stomped to death earlier.
Yeah.
Like he just stomped on it and it fell apart.
It was just like, boom.
He's that much of a badass.
I am Groot. Well, of course. But yeah, when it's just seeing him go up a near vertical surface and then still having enough momentum to fly through the air and just barely clip the helicopter enough that it doesn't immediately explode and shatter into a million pieces, and he somehow came out of that.
Well, and he drops the grenades in there for Hobbs to shoot, which is amazing.
Yeah, that is also fucking amazing.
Yeah, I had, as honorable mentions, I had the building jump and the airdrop from Furious 7. The building jump is just fucking awesome to watch that car jumping between those buildings in Abu Dhabi. The only problem is Ronda Rousey's in that scene, and she is by far the worst actor in any of these movies.
She's terrible.
She is awful. She only has like 3 lines, and they're all just so wooden and terrible. Anybody out there who's watching wrestling, I don't watch it. Like, is she that bad in like WWE wrestling?
I saw a clip of it, and it was just like, not my flavor.
She's just so wooden. Like, I don't get it. And then the airdrop, I've mentioned this already, where they drop out of the plane, parachute out of the planes. They're getting into this place, though, where they're getting too close to not being able to one-up themselves anymore.
Yeah, I mean, like
you
said, they got to race rockets now.
They raced a fucking submarine somehow in the frozen tundra in Fate of the Furious. Like, I don't know what they're going to do next other than going to space. And, like, with the airdrop and the building jump, those were just things that happened, and then we cut to the next scene pretty much. With the reason I picked the plane chase is, like, that just kept going and kept doing more and adding more into the scene. So it was just this continuous stunt rather than, like, this one little thing.
Yeah, it was like the hallway fight from, Daredevil. It was right. It was very unique to that kind of movie, especially doing something like that. That shit is epic. And stringing it along without it just being like, okay, enough after 25 seconds, that's pretty solid.
I agree. And then the airdrop, I gave Justin Lin a lot of credit earlier for some of the shots he'd pulled off, but James Wan directed Furious 7, and the airdrop scene is really beautiful too. It does the same thing as like the Lightspeed Ram in The Last Jedi does, where it just cuts all the sound out as the cars glide through the air. So like you can just kind of hear the wind rocking the cars a little bit as they fall, and like you can see them with the backdrop of the mountain and everything. It's a really cool scene just to kind of take in as a whole, and not even like the audacity of the actual stunt.
Yeah, when you don't really focus on the outrageousness of it. And they do that a lot in this series, is kind of cut out that noise and leave you with like a little something to focus on, and then that's it.
All right, final category. Best heist.
This one's easy for me to pick.
Okay.
I chose the desert train heist.
In Fast 5?
Yep.
That was a really good one.
Well,
that was my honorable mention.
I fucked up here. I chose this as the best heist, but it's the best heist, dude. And my best car was the Ford GT40.
Yeah, you picked Fast 5 3 times. Man, we're gonna have to fire you from movies.
I really like that movie.
Just move Han to Tokyo Drift, and then you only picked it 2 times.
Okay. Well, that Tokyo Drift is in categories we missed, so I will move Han to Tokyo Drift. There we go. I like this.
The categories we missed don't have to follow the rules, so that's only the 5 main categories follow the rules.
Fine, bro. But anyways, I think you were talking about like the score they got. I mean, they obviously got a couple super dope cars. Totally destroyed most of them. I don't see how they didn't just flip as soon as they came off that goddamn ramp. But that is so cool. They come in with that crazy dune buggy.
That's another one where Mia gets to drive too.
Yeah, and she's driving my car. And very disappointed, but like showing up with that teamwork and that craziness, and how they got the cars out of the train was, I thought, fantastic. But then when you have Dom beating the dog shit out of that dude, he has like zero emotion on his face. And, I mean, this guy's like not bleeding at all, so that always takes me out of it for a second, but everything about that's
the problem with PG-13 movies is the violence. So I read this thing, and it was a while ago that I read this thing of like PG-13 movies are doing more to hurt the impact of violence in movies than like R-rated movies are, because there's no blood, there's no death, anything like that. All of that is off screen, or like somebody gets shot and you don't actually see blood in PG-13 movies, and that's doing more than say video games or R-rated movies to impede young people's understanding of how violent some of these things are.
Yeah, man.
Because somebody gets shot in the arm, there's no blood or anything, they just stand up and kind of brush it off in a PG-13 movie, whereas in an R-rated movie, there's blood everywhere, they're screaming, you can really feel the impact of that gunshot. So a lot of this, and I'm not saying the problem with guns in America is PG-13 movies, I'm saying PG-13 movies make it harder for people to understand the actual impact of these types of violence than an R-rated movie would or a rated M video game would, because they don't show the consequences of it. The consequence is just is off screen. So it's, oh, that guy got shot, but the other guy's fine. Don't worry about it. There's no blood. There's no nothing.
Oh yeah, and he can
and
still
I thought that
fucking
was
use
really
his
interesting.
arm. But in real life, people get shot. I mean, that shit destroys your arm. Like, the bone shatter, there's blood everywhere. It hurts like hell. Well, and in a lot of these movies,
and it looks weird. Like, it's weird to watch a super violent scene like Dominic Toretto beating the shit out of someone.
I mean,
and there not being any blood anywhere until after the scene's over, and then all of a sudden the guy's got a nosebleed.
And yeah, exactly. I mean, in real life, that dude would be bleeding from his ears. And basically,
and Dom's hands would be full of blood, and his knuckles would be broken. Yeah,
he'd be breathing real heavy. But this dude is not even breathing. Like, he's just like, bink, bink.
Yeah.
But anyway, the heist of it, like you said earlier, $10 million or $100 million, whatever, $10 million each, right?
Well, that wasn't from the train. That was the bank vault later.
Well, I mean, in the end, that led to it, correct?
Kind of, I guess, yeah, because they stole the cars from the mafia guy, and then he got onto them, and he moved all his money, and then that led them to the bank vault.
I always looked at it as like a heist part A and part B.
Kind of.
So,
but that's what got them on the radar of the other guy to do the other heist.
Got to get that money. But they stole some super dope cars, did it in crazy ways, and all lived to tell the tale.
Yeah, so this is why you don't get to take credit for the $10 million each, is because the bank vault heist in Fast 5 is actually the best heist.
You bastard.
So they're different heists for that reason, so I can choose it. An interesting thing I heard on the Rewatchables podcast a few months ago, or it might have been a few weeks, whenever they did Fast 5, no CGI used in the bank vault heist. So they're dragging that bank vault down the road. There's no CGI there. It's smashing through everything. It's on a road. The way they did it is they had a little truck inside the vault that was actually driving the vault around, and then the cars were they were tethered to it, but they weren't actually pulling it. I thought that was a really cool thing.
That is fucking bananas.
That's so much credit to Justin Lin for thinking of that and pulling it off in a way that looks real and makes sense.
Yeah, you're not sitting there like
CGI.
Well, it's just it's just a fucking truck in there driving around, whatever.
Yeah, and like you said, they scored $10 million each, $100 million. Tej gets to use some of his crazy safe cracking skills that he learned from wherever the hell he learned it as a mechanic.
YouTube,
and we get it.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time watching YouTube.
And then honorable mentions, we got, again, the sky drop from Furious 7, where they extract Ramsey, Missandei from Game of Thrones.
Hey, girl.
That was pretty cool. And they scored the location of the God's Eye, which these things, these computer programs that can find anyone, they always have the dumbest name. Like, God's Eye is a stupid name for a computer program.
Eagle Eye, God's Eye, Satan's Eye, Zeus's Eye.
It would really be called Ramsey's Pwn Program 01, 02, 04, 06. Like, nobody's naming something God's Eye.
I might, bro.
That's why you're not a computer programmer.
Drake might. Since God's playing.
God's playing God's Eye. I get it, yeah. So those are our regular categories. We got some categories that we might have missed, though. A lot more stuff to go over. Hopefully not too much more. Best cameo in a Fast and Furious movie. We're going to just kind of rapid fire these.
Me? Me first?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. I chose Ronda Rousey, man. Because just like I looked at a still of her and it's just like, oh, God.
Her role was good as the leader of his personal bodyguard. It's just...
She sucks, man.
If she didn't have to talk, it would have been great. Like, they should have just had her be like the silent bodyguard.
Well, she just wants to be so intimidating. As soon as she talks, I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm good.
And Letty's like 6 inches shorter than her, 30 pounds less than her, and she just beats the shit out of her.
Yeah,
Way to go, Letty.
Dog walks her.
Ride or die. Mine goes to Ja Rule, The Fast and the Furious.
Nice. That is actually a really good pick.
Menage!
Menage!
Ja Rule was huge in 2001, and like I think this was his first movie role. So he was supposed to stay in. He was actually in Too Fast, Too Furious. He was supposed to be the ludicrous role, and he thought he should be paid more money than what they were offering him. So they were just like, fuck it, and he walked, and they brought in Ludacris, and I am so happy that Ludacris is this person, and that we don't have Ja Rule in the family for the next 18 years.
Yeah, me too, dude. He's a little much.
That would have been rough. I like him in that first movie in the one race scene right at the beginning, but other than that, no.
Yeah, pretty much.
Another good cameo in that race scene is Michael Ealy, who's been in a lot of movies recently. He's in like Think Like a Man and the remake about Last Night, and he's just in a lot of things. You'd recognize him if you saw him. He makes an appearance in The Fast and the Furious as well.
Lots of good cameos throughout that series.
Best product placement, and there's only one right answer for this.
Every car there is on there?
No, Corona, man.
Fucking Corona.
You can have any brew you like as long as it's Corona. We've already talked about Corona.
You did. That is a good call.
It's so not oblivious. It's so obvious that it's like just
I was oblivious. I didn't even think about it, dude. That's a perfect one.
It's just so obvious that it's blatant product placement every time. He's like Corona, 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 Corona.
Here, drink this. Look at the label, bitch. Fresh lime.
Usually in movies, like you'll see the character goes into the bar and he's like, "I'll have a beer," and that's it. But like in these movies, it's we gotta have a Corona.
Gotta have a Corona.
Very funny. Best race.
Dom and Brian, the quarter mile from the first movie. Boom.
Yep.
Easy peasy.
That was my pick too.
That is such a good scene.
We get the iconic "Dude, I almost had you" from Brian at the end of it, and Dom's great speech about "You almost had me? You almost had me?" And he goes into all these car terms, granny shift and double clutch and whatever the fuck he's talking about. I don't really know. But that's it. The race is great, and then the scene after it where they're going back and forth is great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Loved it.
And I mentioned it earlier, the opening race from Tokyo Drift is really great too.
Yes.
With Mike Winchell and Brad Taylor.
Mike Winchell.
Best eye candy.
Giselle, bro. Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
Woo!
Eva Mendes? Fast and Furious? Too Fast, Too Furious?
I think Gal Gadot is probably one of the most beautiful women I think I've ever seen on the face of the earth.
I don't disagree, but like Eva Mendes, I'm on it. Like she's always had me. Yeah. I can't even put it into words. Yeah. But I really liked Gal Gadot and Eva Mendes. Gal Gadot had a little more time to breathe.
Well, I think she's.
But they actually had real characters.
Yeah, dude. She's actually
like Eva Mendes in Too Fast, Too Furious was a big part of that plot. Like she set everything in motion. She's working undercover for the bad guy and brings Brian and Tyrese into it. And you know she actually has a little bit of character behind her. And Gal Gadot, same thing in Fast and Furious 4. She doesn't have a lot of character, but then she's in the next two movies and they get to build on her, which is really great.
Fuck yeah. She's obviously very attractive, so there's that too.
All right, last thing. Favorite movie in the series and why?
Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, bro.
Wow.
That is my absolute favorite. I watched that movie like 500 times.
I love it.
It is so dumb, man. It's so dumb. And just hearing Lucas Black's, I love Lucas Black. That came out.
What? He's a worse actor than Paul Walker, man.
He's fucking terrible, man.
He's really good in Friday Night Lights though, because like he's this perfect Texas good old boy.
He's got that.
That southern accent.
Oh man, I can't stand his accent. And I'm trying to think, what was he in pretty recently where he's like, was that Logan Lucky?
I don't think it was.
He's like taking care of someone's baby. It's not his baby or some shit. Anyway, he's terrible in that too. But when I was a kid or younger, there was this movie called Flash on Disney. And he was this kid whose like grandma dies, so he takes this horse to ride to go meet his dad before he gets on a cruise ship, and he just, his life sucks. He's riding this horse across the country, he's eating out of dumpsters and shit. But I loved that movie when I was younger. So I was all there.
The only recent movie he's been in besides Furious 7 where he makes a small cameo is 42, the Jackie Robinson movie.
Definitely not that. It might have been a TV show.
He was in Promised Land, which is a Matt Damon, John Krasinski movie about fracking.
Definitely not that either.
I watched it because I like Matt Damon and John Krasinski, but not a very good movie.
No, definitely not. But
Jarhead, Friday Night Lights, Cold Mountain, X-Files.
He's been in a lot of shit though.
Yeah, he's got a pretty solid filmography. He's not a good actor though. Sorry, Lucas Black. You'll always be Mike Winchell to me.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought it was what a dumbass
I like
fucking
Tokyo
movie,
Drift.
dude. Like that's kind of what I thought.
I'm not really giving you shit for the pick because it is a good movie, and rewatching it, like I really get into it. The problem is that Lucas Black is terrible. Bow Wow is terrible.
They're all terrible except for Han.
It rests on Han and DK, who are really really good characters. And the girl, I don't remember the girl's name. She's pretty good too. But the two leads are I guess
terrible.
Han is probably a lead over Bow Wow, but two of the top three leads are completely awful. So it's really hard.
Well, part of the reason why I love this movie, obviously the dumb ass concept of it, but B was the two best scenes in that were when they're drifting through the crowd and then drifting up the parking structure where you don't have to deal with the main characters. They're just dope. It was just dope.
The drifting scenes are really good. We talked about how good Justin Lin was at that. And drifting is kind of a cool concept. I said it before, and I still think it. It's a pretty cool thing. I wouldn't want to wreck my car doing it, but it's cool to watch. And then the drifting down the mountain when the girlfriend takes Mike Winchell out to the mountain, and they're just like, it's like her and a couple of her friends drifting down that mountain kind of slowly that the final race takes place at. Like, that's kind of cool in the way he shot it on the mountain and everything. Like, that's a really dope scene, too.
Agreed.
Shout out Tokyo Drift.
Yeah.
I'm going to do you one better, though.
Hit me.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
Such a weird movie, man.
It's not. I'm in the same boat. It's not a good movie. It's the first one I saw. And like I was playing a lot of Need for Speed Underground at the time. It's got a great early 2000s soundtrack with Ludacris, Outkast, Trick Daddy on there. You got Eva Mendes throwing heat. It really steered into the fast cars and hot girls motif. And in 2003, at that point in my life,
it was perfect.
I was down for that.
I watched that movie 100 times too.
Exactly. It's really good for what it is. You got Tyrese yelling at everything. You got Ludacris in there, bringing in some comic relief. There's just a lot of good little things in it. The story is pretty good. I like I guess it's not heist in that one that they pull off, but like the misdirection that they do where they drive into the garage and then like 100 fucking cars come out of the garage to throw off the FBI and the villain. Like that's really a cool concept of how to beat your tail, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you got Ejectocito, bro.
Yeah, corny.
I probably could have picked something from Too Fast, Too Furious for every award that we gave out, but it's against the rules. You tried to do it with Fast 5.
Sorry.
But that's against the rules, so I didn't do that. And then Fast 5 is really a close second. After a full rewatch of all of them, Fast 5 is probably the best movie from a filmmaking critical standpoint. I would say it's the best movie. Somehow Furious 7 is the most critically acclaimed. I don't know why or how. Fast 5 should be. It's got nonstop action. We got great set pieces in Rio. The Rock comes in. It's got a good story, great heist, and you get the whole gang back together, which is always the best part of any heist movie.
Definitely.
Is bringing the gang together.
The gang.
I can't believe this didn't last 3 hours. I don't have anything more to say on Fast and Furious movies. Do you have anything more?
I think I'm going to leave it there.
I probably actually have a lot more to say, but
I could say so much more, but I don't think these folks would like to listen to me speak about how dumb certain things are and how great certain dumb things are. No, that's not where...
We're not here to point out the dumb things. We're here to point out the greatness of this series because it is dumb and it is stupid, but it is awesome.
Exactly, and I could fanboy about it for quite a
Everyone
while.
That I've talked to, because I've been rewatching these movies for 2-3 months now, and they're, on Twitter, there's a lot of other podcasters that we interact with, and everybody's kind of been doing their Fast and Furious appreciation episodes recently because of Hobbs and Shaw coming out, and, you want to garner that momentum for your own show, and I get that, and that's why we're doing this now as well. But it's crazy that something this critically awful is so well liked.
Yeah.
And everybody's there for it. Everybody's just like, I don't care how bad it is. I'm watching it, and I watch every single one that they put out because they're fun and they're exciting, and I know some crazy shit's going to happen.
I'm going to get down with the get down.
Anytime you post something on Twitter, you just get reaction gifs of, other people's opinions, and it's always positive things. You don't ever get the guy going, well, they can't really jump a car through 3 buildings. Like, they would hit a steel beam at some point and the car would just explode.
Yeah, that's when all of us would be like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that guy doesn't appear on Twitter anywhere, which is great, and it's really a testament to these movies that they can pull that off in this day and age where everybody has something to hate about everything.
Pretty much. I mean, I'm a hater, man. Certified.
You really are.
Yeah.
But
hater.
You're here for this.
Hater. I'm here for it.
And thank you, Fast and Furious, for bringing us all together as one. It's really important that you do this.
Thank you.
And I look forward to coming together for the next 10 years.
Woo-woo.
And in space.
In space, dude.
Underwater, maybe.
Through time.
Through time. Definitely through time. To the Earth's core. I could see boat races going on, like submarine races underwater somehow. They'll get their hands on some Aquaman tech. There's a lot to go on here.
That'd be so G.
If you work for Universal and you heard this and you liked our idea for Fast 10, give us a call. We're always available. Hit us on Twitter at APA something @alone_podcast. We're always available there as well. We got a cool giveaway going on right now. We'll announce it on next week's episode, who wins. All you got to do to enter is leave us a review and a rating on iTunes. Send us a screenshot on Twitter at APA something, or send a DM on Twitter. And just a screenshot of the review to prove that you did it. And we'll be giving away, because I bought a toy that I already own. It's still in the box, so we will be giving that away. I'm not telling you what it is, though. There is a picture of it on Twitter, but you have to figure out which toy it is in the picture. So
good luck.
That's there. We'll keep blowing that up for the next week or so on Twitter, and we'll announce the winner next week. It'll be a random winner from everyone who submits a review.
Yep. It's so bad, but I kind of whatever. I can't.
You haven't put in a review yet.
Yeah.
Or you haven't sent a screenshot of your review at least.
Oh, I put one in forever and a day ago.
Well, send a screenshot. You'll be entered to win.
Sweet. I'm there, man.
Always check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/podcastaboutsomething. We got a lot of great stuff, random reviews, pilot projections. Going to be doing my NFL can't miss picks, where I'll pick 3 games against the spread every week for the NFL season. So check that out. We're going to win a lot of money there. So listen and bet.
Trust this dude with numbers. He's good with them.
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. That's all we got. Thanks to those cats for providing the music for a podcast about something.
You guys stay sassy.
Stay classy.